Hello there, and welcome to this video. So, I have a pretty interesting game for you from the 6th round of the Reykjavik Open, the European Individual Chess Championship. Yeah, I'm currently at the venue. I am on the organizing committee. This is my badge. Everybody has a badge. There's a player badge, there's a arbiters and staff. We all have badges. And yeah, so I'm kind of busy, responsible for a lot of things, helping with a lot of things. Today I was helping with the commentary. I'm doing photos. I'm doing the website in Icelandic, in English, and corresponding with media. And somehow I'm trying to make a video for you guys. Why? I don't know why. I guess I love you guys. And this is a game I wanted to share. Interesting idea in the King's Indian. I'm looking at you, Steve Farmer. I'm looking at you. We're going to build a King's Indian wall. I thought this idea was very interesting and pivotal for Rauf Mamedov, who before this round was leading with Maxime Lagarde and Hovhannes Gabusyan from Armenia with 4.5 out of 5. So let's have a look at the game. Lagarde opened with d4. Earlier in the tournament he had a very nice game in the Grunfeld, which I analyzed. The Grunfeld smash, you can check it out. I'll try to link to it. I hope I remember. A lot of things on my plate, so I might forget, but I try not to. So Mamedov, he plays the King's Indian, and that's no surprise. In fact, he really likes to fianchetto, or fianchetto, whichever way you want to pronounce it. He will he likes to put the bishop on g2, let's just say that. His king's bishop, he likes to fianchetto it. And you do that in the King's Indian, and you do that in the Retu with white, which he played yesterday. So today they had the King's Indian, mainline, bishop e2, e5, castles. And here, the main move is knight c6. This position has been reached tens of thousands of times in tournament practice. When by far the most common move is knight to c6, which introduces the Martel Plata variation of the d5 knight e7, when white has the bayonet attack with b4 and some retreats. Court does not like to put his knight on e1, and knight e2 is and was very common. That's the most common move. We also have knight b to d7, kind of the old King's Indian. Knight a6 is more modern, when after d takes e5, if white were to take here, we have a more, a different approach to the exchange. Black is throwing different things at white, depending on where he puts the knight. And other moves after castles, e takes d4. I played this somewhat successfully. I made a draw in the European Club Cup against a Grandmaster. Almost beat another one. The fifth most common move is c6. And I remember, well, it was today, so I hope I remember. I was doing commentary with Ivan Sokolov on the official stream. And he mentioned that Stenko Kosul, Croatian Grandmaster, somewhat of a legend, who played the King's Indian. He has tried basically every move here to, if he wants to avoid theory on the day. The sixth most common move, Queen e8 is among them. Number 7, knight h5, he's tried. Number 8, a5, he's tried as well. And then there are other moves. 9th most common, 10th most common is Queen e7, and we can go on. Knight fd7 is number 11, which leaves us with the 12th most common move, which is h6. And that's indeed what Rauf Mamedov played here, h6. So safe to say he's taken his opponent by surprise. We can see the clock times here down below. They're playing this pretty fast, I guess until h6. And this prompted Lagarde to think for almost 10 minutes, and he took on e5. Black takes back, what else to do? Probably, Mamedov likes to walk around, so probably the minute he spent was spent, not being at the board. We have the exchange variation, kind of a delayed exchange variation, where white has castled and black has played h6. And in the exchange, knight d5 is indeed a move that has been played. But in this position, it's a novelty. And Ivan said during the commentary that the difference is that after knight a6 now, this pawn will be hanging. But knight a6 is what Mamedov played. And Lagarde said, well, okay, thank you for the pawn. I'm going to take on f6, take on h6. But now Mamedov played bishop. He didn't play a bishop. He played knight c5. And it turns out this isn't too easy to protect. The bishop can't protect. This looks very dodgy. We might even be able to play g5, cut off the defense, and then try to trap this bishop. Doesn't look very viable, so white played knight g5. Now at first glance, the computers actually like black after bishop e7. And that might be the best move here, bishop e7. The idea being simple, we want to play f6, and this pawn it's very difficult to defend. If you play bishop f3 or f3, this knight doesn't have a lot of squares, and this just looks ridiculously ugly, and I think black is very happy to play this. He's going to play, well, he doesn't really have to, but c6 is kind of a standard King's Indian move, and then we play knight here, and we dominate these squares. Dark squared bishops, and this guy will be completely stupid. Mamedov, however, played bishop g7, which still leaves white with a dilemma here, how to defend the pawn. But at first glance, the computer likes the other one better. Okay, Lagarde played b4. I think Ivan was right that rook a d1 is the best move here. But still, and very interestingly, computers think that black is actually fine here. Down the pawn. So b4, taking the knight so that this will not be under attack. But this knight is active and wants to come to c3 now. f4, f6. And the knight must retreat. Again, you go to f3. I guess that's too ugly if I take on h3. So the knight goes back to f3. Knight c3 hitting the bishop. And e takes f4. And according to the computer, black is already better. And in a few moves, we'll kind of see why more clearly. First of all, this pawn is under attack. We might even take this one. Don't know why we can't do that. But for now, okay, we play bishop f5. We got all our pieces out. After takes. Now the picture is kind of more clear. Our rooks are connected. We have a rook on a nice open file. If the white knight moves, we might penetrate. We have pressure on the pawn. We have a better bishop. This bishop is quite passive. Our king is actually active. It's helping with playing g5. So the black pieces are active. This is kind of dumb, and there's not a lot of activity with white. So in fact, black is just better here. Knight h4. But now the rook penetrates. But white had an idea, trying to get some activity, but it just seems to backfire, and black is just better. Bishop h5. And the idea was to take on f4, and then take on f5, but there's knight e2. And that's what Mamedov played. We have takes, otherwise I take on f4, and we take on f5. Now, at first glance, it looks like white should be okay. I mean, he has two pass pawns here. If we can start pushing them, they're dangerous. But the key word here is if. And the rook on e2 is actually very well placed, as we'll see as the game goes on. So, Mamedov plays rook g8. So first of all, this knight is not allowed to move. Can't go to f5, can't go to f3. Pressure on g2. No rush to take this. I mean, these pawns are quite weak. We can attack them later. a3, anyway. Rook g4. Pressure. Pressure. c5. Rook a2. Rook is still active on the second rank, but now we're also attacking a pawn. h3. Rook c4. And now, of course, we see that we can't start pushing because mate. Lawnmower mate on the back rank. So we're kind of stuck at the moment. Rook h6, king d5. A little bit of back and forth, but now the king goes to f7. Knight f3, trying to activate something, but rook c to c2. Attack here. Knight e5 check, king there and protecting. But now we take a pawn. And if we move this one, then this is hanging. So black is not giving white time to move these pawns. h4, a5. Okay, black has to get going as well on the queen side. B takes, rook takes e5. Double attack. This, although already this was attacked. Knight f3. Now we take. And this stops h5 completely for the moment. King f2. And black starts pushing. g4. Rook c2. And now we see the problem. Like I mentioned earlier, we can't go to the back rank. We've seen that before. There's going to be some type of lawnmower mate or a pin where we win a piece. And king g3 isn't much better because rook a3 pins the knight and where to put the king. White wants g5, but he's already completely lost. King here, we're going to check, and you lose the knight. King here, we're going to check here, and you're going to lose the knight. If you go back to g3, I go back to c3, and I win this. g5, rook f5, the knight is lost, and the game is lost. Black took the knight, gave him a check, and now won the h-pawn as well. There's no mate, so Lagarde resigned. Impressive win by Mamedov, who played a very rare and in this case a successful idea in the King's Indian. Maybe something for you to look at if you play the King's Indian, and you can add to your repertoire. I think actually I might do that myself, but don't tell anybody. Thanks for watching.